Welcome one, welcome all. It's time for NCAA basketball as the visiting Prairie Fire out of Knox College visits Carthage College in Kenosha. Hello everybody, alongside my broadcast colleague this evening, Eric Elger, I'm Peter Ferreri. Eric, it is a non-conference matchup after the home Firebirds had a absolute huge win on the road against number 5 ranked Illinois Wesleyan just a few days ago. And as we look at where things were in the preseason, it was Illinois Wesleyan 1, Carthage 2, and so that huge win for Carthage is going to go a long way.
Yeah, you can see in that preseason poll they were picked so close, and Carthage on Wednesday night able to come on top against the number 5 team in the country. A huge win for this team, and especially when you're looking at, like we said, that these two teams were meant to be the top 2 competing teams, and to get an early win against a team like that, huge jumping off point for the season.
Well, one thing to keep in mind when we look at the stats for that game, Carthage shooting .421 from the field, 300 from 3, 700 plus from the free throw line. They out-rebounded in Illinois Wesleyan. They had a little bit less on the steal or turnover category. But again, Riley Brooks, we spoke about him last time we were here at home, 29 points, 12 field goals. He just was all over the place, the Johnny on the spot, or it could say Riley on the spot for the Firebirds.
Yeah, wow, just what a pickup for Carthage. I mean, to come into a team like this, your first season, and head to Illinois Wesleyan and put down 29 points. He has been a huge contributor, and Coach Jurkovic has turned to him a lot on the offensive end to get him a bucket. And, yeah, he's really produced for them so far.
On the flip side, Knox College and the Prairie Fire team, it's been an up and down season so far. They started with 2 losses against Dominican and Millikan, then 1-2 against Westminster and Blackburn College, then lost 2 again against Franklin and Grinnell. So if you're looking at history, they should be able to come out with a win here today. But one key thing to keep in mind about this matchup is, I think, some really important notes. One, Knox is scoring 83 points a year on average. That is more than the 77 for Carthage, but some huge differentials, and that's why I wanted to mention when we were talking about Carthage. They out-rebounded Illinois Wesleyan 45-39. However, Knox is a plus 11.5 in the rebound margin against Carthage. It's going to be won and lost down low this evening.
Yeah, you mentioned that rebounding team, and Knox, one of the best rebounding teams in the country, currently ranked 4th in all of Division III at 48 rebounds a game. So Carthage, a team that likes to shoot the 3, and Knox, as you look at their kind of trends so far this season, they've actually taken 70 less 3-point shots than Carthage on the season. So a little bit of different contrast in styles, but a team that's as successful on the boards like Knox, and Carthage has got their work cut out for them to try to create those second chance opportunities.
Knox comes in at 2-4 over all the Firebirds, 5-2 on their front. You may say, have these teams played each other before? Well, they have. It's been a while, and yes, it's been longer than since before I was born. Last meeting was a 72-64 victory, February the 19th, 1957, so almost 68 years ago. These teams, former division/conference rivals, as they were, battled on the hardwood year after year after year, part of the Illinois Intercollegiate Athletic Conference, also known as the Little 19. Knox, a charter member in 1908. Carthage joined in 1912. We're talking about 100-plus years ago, these teams were doing this exact same thing. And they are hoping, if you're the Firebirds, for the exact same turnout and the result that happened in 1957.
Yeah, I mean, a team like Knox, it's kind of crazy. We were talking about how old some of these teams are. You don't even realize how far basketball can go back. But someone I would like to mention here for Knox is Sean Gallery, just eclipsed the 1,000-point mark for the Prairie Fire. So he's someone that Knox will like to turn to, and he's actually scored at least 14 points in every game. So if you're Coach Jurkovic, you kind of know Gallery's going to get his. Where can you make the stops on the rest of the Knox lineup?
Lining up now to start the national anthems. I'm sure that nobody's going to do the underhand shot at the free throw line, but you know what? Maybe if one team has a lead, they'll give that to a nod to the elders of the programs. Timeout coming. We'll be back. National anthem coming your way on the Firebird Broadcasting Network.
as a gift to the college from his parents. In remembering Captain Barron, we pay tribute to all who have sacrificed their lives for our country and honor those who today put themselves in harm's way in service to America. At this time, please rise if you are able and remove your pins for the playing of our national anthem. Starting lineups between the Knox Ferreri Fire and your Carthage Fire. First for the visiting Ferreri Fire. At guard is 6'3" sophomore from New Zealand, number 4, Joshua Stewart. At guard is 6' sophomore from South Holland, Illinois, number 5, Anthony Davis. At forward is 6'6" senior from Edwards, Illinois, number 10, Aiden Derry. At guard is 6'4" senior from Carthage, Illinois, number 12, Sean Gallery. And at forward is 6'5" junior from Rochester, New York, number 30, Cole Andrews. The head coach of the Ferreri Fire is Corey Harvey. Coach Harvey is assisted by Randy Jackson and Zach Foster. All right, Fire Invaders, make some noise, it's showtime!
Welcome in. The starting lineup brought to you by the Firebird Broadcasting Network. The phenomenal A.J. Williams, Ryan Johnson, Riley Brooks, A.J. Johnson, and Griffin Dawn. So we have the Johnson brothers in the starting five, along with Dawn Brooks, who, again, brought over this year, has been just a spark plug for the team. On the opposite side for the Prairie Fire, Stuart Davis at the guard position, along with Gallery. And we're about to get things started. And the tip-off won by the Firebirds, so we'll have to think of some ways to call it. It's the Battle of the Flames, as you have the Prairie Fire and the Firebirds, and the Birds answer first.
Yeah, nice take there by Johnson. Seemed like a little defensive miscommunication, and Johnson able to go right, AJ, right to the hoop. But yeah, a little Fire versus Prairie Fire.
Ooh. A player is currently down. That was a hard dive to try to get to, let's see who that is. That is number 4, Josh Stewart out of New Zealand. He absolutely lunged to try to get it, but rammed his body into the backboard. We're going to take a timeout, folks. We'll step aside. We'll be back on the Firebird Broadcasting Network. We're back, Firebird Broadcasting Network, and Stewart is up. He is being helped off the court. Truly hope everything was okay. That it looked pretty scary. Shot up, 3-ball. Johnson trying to get the offensive board, able to come away with it, almost stolen away, and it is a steal. Fast break opportunity. Prairie Fire. Brock!
Woo! What a block there from Dawn. Able to get back on defense and erases the knock shot, and AJ knocking down another bucket. Man, Dawn's got some of that sneaky athleticism, man. It's like he's not the tallest player in the court, but, man, he can get up off the ground.
Yeah, Dawn just the quickness, the first step, the court vision. Again, Antoine Nesbitt out indefinitely. That one knocked out of play at the last moment by Willie Rogers III. So already Stewart out. We'll see how long that is. It might be the entirety of the game, but again, Stewart having played all 6 games, 1 start so far, but played a healthy 27 minutes in each contest. And Brooks gets the baseline basket, a hot 6-0 start for the Firebirds.
As you mentioned, Nesbitt out for indefinitely, and Griffin Dawn is someone that Coach Jurkovic has really seen step up into that starting role.
Well, in a lot of aspects, whether it's graduation, whether it's Ryan Johnson looking for 3, couldn't find it, defensive board by Russell Wright. You had a lot of changes last year to this year. Whether it be, players not playing anymore, injury, moving on, graduating. And so a lot of holes to fill, so a lot of the underclassmen for the Firebirds having to step up. Griffin Dawn now a junior and immediately in that starting lineup. Nesbitt again out indefinitely. So you have, in essence, 3 to 4 of your key starters last year not playing again. Bank shot on the free throw attempt, no good. We'll see if that was planned or not.
Yeah, that seemed very long off the backboard there. Be interesting to see where this next one goes.
That one short and no good. So first one went too far. Second one too short. Knox scoreless still. 2 minutes, 15 seconds into the contest. So up and walking, another basket. A.J. Jackson able to deliver, excuse me.
Yeah, nice cut there from A.J., and he's involved early here already with 6 of the 8 Carthage points.
Yeah, A.J. Johnson just doing so well. Fast pace, minus the early injury, and there's that turnaround fadeaway. Beautiful shot by Cole Andrews out of Rochester, New York.
Yeah, nice little turnaround jumper there. We talked about in the pregame that Knox not really a huge three-point shooting team, but there you can see that mid-range game still alive here for the Prairie Fire.
Johnson looked for three, couldn't find it. Offensive board by the younger brother, or I should say older brother, but shorter. One thing I keep wanting to mention, we have a quick second now. Stewart able to stand right now, kind of walking it off very gingerly on the sideline. We'll see if he can come back in the lineup, but that's a great sign. Again, he was down and he was in a lot of pain. Floater right hand good. Soft off the back rim by Russell Wright out of Savannah, Georgia.
Yeah, Joshua Stewart, one of their better rebounders too, so a piece that Knox hopefully can get back for him.
Almost a steal, but pieces picked up for Johnson. Driving in, foul going to be called on the ground as Aiden Derry out of Edwards, Illinois, a little bit of a push-off on Griffin Dawn as he looked to drive in baseline. Shot up, rims out, no good. Head coach Corey Harvey for Knox in his first season at the helm. He's had the job for just over 7 months. Floating up with the right hand, bounces it in. Nice penetration there by Willie Rogers.
Yeah, they're getting downhill, and you can see they're not messing around with kind of any outside looks so far, and Carthage going to have to muscle up a little bit for seems like what their Prairie Fire are trying to do.
That was a close call as A.J. Williams was fighting for it with one of the defenders. Looked to be number 12, Sean Gallery, but they're saying that Williams touched it last.
Yeah, Carthage missing their first 4 3-point attempts. So, for Coach Jarkovic, obviously like to see who can provide that long-range accuracy today.
And another Prairie Fire player hits the ground and the base of the backboard hard. I mean, that is 2 times at the same spot that's happened, and that cannot feel good.
I know it's weird after not seeing it happen for the a couple seasons. We've seen 2 guys crashing into the stanchion there. Hopefully both Prairie Fire players will be all right, but it looks like Gallery will be okay.
Shot up and good. So just like that, it was a 6-0 start for the Firebirds. Knox with his second free throw, an opportunity to tie it up early. And we mentioned their defense may not be where they would want it to be at this point of the season, but they're scoring 83 points on average a game. So it's not going to be a matter of can they outscore the Firebirds. It's going to be, what can their defense do to just limit the opportunities? A little bit of a full court press now. Sigel checks into the game. Lamb, left-hand layup, fouled on the way, and he gets a little tap on the head. Just aggressive driving to the lane, whether you have the ball or not, both teams.
And it looks like Griffin took a little piece of the padding off of the stanchion there too, and it's maybe got to think about extending how long those stanchions are maybe.
Shot up and good. First point of the evening for Dawn.
And the free throw battle is going to be huge for tonight, and Knox in their last game missed 19 free throws, and was kind of a difference between staying with a tough team like Grinnell and not. So Carthage, one of the better free throw shooting teams in the conference. So look for that this night and see who can win that free throw battle.
Nice penetration down low. The pump fake, the up, the under. What baseline moves for number 20, Carl Dortch out of Galesburg, Illinois, a homegrown product for Knox. And Johnson's able to draw the foul. The defender's heels were right at the line, that being Sean Gallery yet again. So second personal for Gallery. And here's a good sign, if you can see in the left background, it looks indeed as that Josh Stewart is about to check back into the game. Shut up and good, and there's the sub, and that's a great, great sign.
Yeah, those you see he's from New Zealand, and something new those New Zealanders are known for being extremely tough. You think of players like Steven Adams, and yeah, he was rolled the ankle a little bit, but he's back out there for the Prairie Fire.
See the cheerleaders and dance team and a lot of fans in the crowd with a holiday shirt. It says, I believe, Sleigh, Bird, Sleigh. As both these teams trying to come away with a nice holiday gift this Saturday evening at Tarble Arena. Backing in, a little bit of a nudge, looking for the turn. The pump fake up at the right hand, too strong. Foul going to be called. A.J. Johnson going to the line for two as he says my bad to his brother. His brother Ryan Johnson was open for the pass, a potential two-hand slam. A.J. kept it himself and nonetheless will go to the line for two.
Yeah, you can tell A.J. has had a mission so far tonight is to get low, get under the basket, and wasn't able to get the bucket there, but just a nice move to kind of create an opening with a pump fake and able to go up and under and draw the foul.
Up and good. Appreciate in the background you might see there the student section wearing very festive and holiday-themed clothes. Did you ever dress up for any games back in your time, or whether it was high school or college or anything like that?
Oh, high school I used to do some weird, some strange things. Yeah, I always wanted to get one of those full morph suits. Never got one, though. The full red, head-to-toe type of thing.
That, I thought about it. My friend Alex, shout out Alex LaCicero, he would always do it, but I don't have the physique for that. It would probably scare the children if I did anything of the sort.
Yeah, the physique was definitely the the deciding factor of getting it or not, but Carthage fans, if you see a guy head to toe in all red, it may be at a road game.
Yeah.
Right? Because I'll be more often than not on the call here with you, but on a road game, you might see me pop up one of these nights.
Well, that'll be next. We're going to have to talk to, Coach Jared Kovic and say, hey, next season, because there's still, it's not formally announced, but some big surprises for this Firebirds program coming up this year. As Ryan Johnson looks for three again. Offensive board attempt by Dawn. Tip back. What follow through for the Firebirds? Spinning around. Wide open inside was Johnson. He's kind of mad at himself. He had a wide open lane for a layup, but thought there'd be somebody there.
Yeah, you almost looked. He got there. I was looking to pass, and then all of a sudden it was like, wait a minute, nobody's here. And yeah, it was almost too open.
But what I was saying is there's some nice big announcements coming up for the Firebirds and the athletic department. When that announces, we'll be excited to bring that to you. Can't say it yet, but it's really exciting. But I was going to say, that's the big one for this year, so maybe next year it'll be, Pete and Eric on the road. We'll document the road trip. We'll be at Illinois Wesleyan or, at the home of the Pioneers, and, we'll see. We'll see.
And interesting to see Nemia Stojic already off the bench for Coach Jurkovic. Coach Jurkovic, something he mentioned from the big win, as Sigel takes a pop to the face. But something Coach Jurkovic mentioned, and in the press conference from the win against Illinois Wesleyan, he talked about how big Nemia Stojic came up for the team because Carthage doesn't have a ton of options in that center, kind of traditional center position. And Nemi played some big minutes against Illinois Wesleyan. Looks like he's rewarded with some early minutes here.
Well, you and I, we talked about last year, and again, for those joining us for the first time, welcome. But you had Julian Campbell, one of your rotational bigs, not on the team anymore. You had Tony Bernero, one of your rotational bigs, graduated. You have Ryan Johnson and Nemi Stojic as the only two bigs on paper left on the team. Now, yes, you have other bigger players, but in terms of height and role that they had in the past, those are your two big returners.
Right, yeah, like I said, just kind of that traditional man-in-the-middle type of position. And, Carthage has had to be creative a couple times early this season with how they can defend some of those bigger players. But there you can see players like Nemi right there making his presence known, able to get the block and jump ball. So, Carthage, obviously it's like at some point height matters, right? If you got some taller players, get the easier rebounds and have the defensive presence. But Carthage has been able to mix and match, and Coach Jurkovic has been creative with the lineups he's been able to put together this season.
Not to mention, the graduating of one of the best players in Carthage college basketball history last year with Yerk. So just player after player. But that just shows the respect that the conference has for Coach Jurkovic, the team, that they still were voted second in the preseason poll. They're like, oh, you lost all these players, still second.
Yeah, Bulatovic, another one of those guys who is more of a under-the-basket type of player. And, they missed a few of those pieces, but it's really kind of been rinse and repeat here for Carthage, and they've started off the season strong.
Do you miss saying his name from the PA announcer? Because you always leaned into the Bulatovic.
Yeah, it definitely was one of my favorite names to say for sure. And a traditional Carthage name with the Bulatovic, as we got Jurkovic and Stojic, as we know that Serbian connection here is strong here at Carthage, stemming all the way back to Steve's dad, Bosko Jurkovic.
But Phil Bulatovic, one of the best to ever lace him up. I think I saw him here a bit in the fall supporting Carthage, some maybe still local. You would know more than I, but, good to see, somebody, as I like to say, a first ballot Carthage Hall of Famer, Phil Bulatovic.
We get votes for that, right?
I'm gonna talk into existence. Like, hey, we've been here long enough now. We know people. Sigel knows threes. Ooh, just rims out. That would have been nice if that fell. Foul going to be called against Stojic. Never know, Eric. Yourself could be a future Hall of Famer.
I got a long way to go. I got a few more games to go there. And we mentioned, it's kind of funny, we mentioned how both teams got that Firebirds versus Prairie Fire, but it has been the opposite from the three-point line so far.
Yes, it has.
Both teams have combined for 0 for 10 from the three-point land. And, it's been more of a beat-em-up type of game so far, but, Coach Jurkovic, someone who definitely likes that open, flowing offensive game, and see if Carthage can find some connections here.
Well, and as somebody that's been around this team for a while now, it's a much more offensive foul called against number 2 Brandon Cooley, the freshman out of Jackson, Mississippi.
Knox falls on number 2, Brandon Cooley.
What I was getting at, though, a much more subdued Coach Jurkovic than years and years ago.
He'll bust it out if he needs it, though.
Oh yeah. That's why I always want to make sure I have the best home broadcast available, because, I don't want to get yelled at. Oh, nice fall away, bounce pass, driving in, right hand and good. What hustle? Who else? Riley Brooks.
And that's something as Knox, you play defensively that far out of the perimeter, you're going to leave some openings at the basket, and Knox really selling out to try to get a steal there at half court, and that left the opening lane. And nice to see Joshua Stewart back off that injury and take a nice drive to the basket for Knox there.
Stewart, who played at Sacred Heart College in New Zealand, finds his way from New Zealand to Galesburg, Illinois. That's one of those backstories you want to look up. The pump fake The fadeaway. Ho, ho, ho! The heat is on. It's on the streets. 18-13, 6 points for Brooks.
Yeah, right there you can see the type of game that allows Riley Brooks to get 29 points. That's almost unguardable.
No good off the back rim. Touch at the last moment. We'll try and see. Okay, so it is going to go the way of the Firebirds. And so Aiden Derry not quite happy about that call. Oh, a foul's going to be called. Okay, so that makes sense because from our vantage point, it did look like it touched a Firebird last, but they're saying that Derry pushed said Firebird into the ball out of play, and I believe that was Brooks that got the nudge. And so with that, I think we're going to the line.
Yeah, already.
And we are.
Yeah, it's already a 1-and-1 situation.
That is early in this contest.
Yeah. I know when I saw the referee signal for the 1-and-1, it seemed almost impossible to be at 7 fouls already, but you can see up on the scoreboard, 4-7 on the foul. And it's kind of interesting. Knox just coming off a game where they play a team like Grinnell where you almost know you're going to have to score 100-something points to keep up with the team. And this is more of a grind them out style so far. And you can see the only, 10 minutes into the game, 18-13, well off the pace that Knox had to play with Grinnell last game when it went to 107-101. And I would put some money on their not getting to 100 tonight, just based on the early shooting, but you never know when things start to heat up.
I thought you were going to say you'd put some cheese curds on it. I don't know if there's, because again, if you ever want to attend a Firebirds broadcast or a game, I should say, by all means do. A lot of fun. And what is it if they miss 2 free throws? You get free cheese curds?
That's in the second half, yeah.
Yeah, second half, two miss, and get some curds from Culver's. So that's fun. And don't forget our halftime and postgame show brought to you by the Golden Oil Company of Kenosha. So make sure you stick around for that and support all of our local sponsors. Is there something if they hit 100?
They have not created something like that, but that's something maybe we can float out there as a little special treat. Maybe it's you get a cherry on top of the sundae if you get 100 at Culver's. But Culver's a Wisconsin tradition.
I'm trying to remember what it was back in my day. I'm going to have to text some of the old fraternity brothers to see what it was back in my time. But I knew it was 100. You get something like free slice of pizza or something. You're in college. You do a lot of things for a slice of pizza, for a free T-shirt. Please. Who doesn't want a good T-shirt toss?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Any of that. If I was in college, I saw free food. I was there.
Yep. So checking out is Tanner Lamb. And head coach Corey Harvey was named the head basketball coach in May of this year. He was an associate head coach at Heidelberg University from 2018 until this year. Nice job driving in. Quick miss. And Johnson picks up the pieces. Again, the vital part of this team has been Ryan Johnson, the true sophomore. Dawn, right arm bandaged up, had a cut earlier in the contest, and a 3-ball no good as the New Zealander Stewart able to come away with the rebound. Shot up for 3, rolls around, no good. Sigel picks up the pieces.
Yeah,
2-3, go
up
ahead.
to 0 for 14 combined for both teams from 3 here.
2-3 zone defensively. That'll leave some gaps as Arnold is getting some quality minutes. And a 3-ball from the big man. Fire it up from long range. 23-13, 10-point lead for the Firebirds.
Felt like a little deja vu. Garrett Arnold driving to the hole, kicking it out, and this time Ryan Johnson able to connect on the first 3 of the game, and maybe that's something that kind of opens up the bucket here. Start seeing some more fall.
Dawn floats it in. Arnold, one time, far side, no good, side iron. Johnson looked for the board. A.J. Johnson couldn't get the 3-pointer and a little bit of a half-court push defense by the Firebirds. They're marked up in a man defense currently. Trying for a behind the back. There's no avail. Swiped away. Johnson. Sigel. Strong up to Arnold. And again, that the depth for the Firebirds is at that guard position.
Yeah, someone like Garrett Arnold. There we go.
The Firebirds and Griffin Dawn in Fuego. 26-13. They hadn't found a three-pointer in a minute. And by a minute, I meant most of the game. And all of a sudden, two big ones in back-to-back possessions.
Yeah, I like to see the penetrate and pop, opening up some opportunities for the Firebirds. But I was going to mention someone like Garrett Arnold, just a steady hand for someone like Coach Jurkovic to be able to rely on. And you can see him weaving in and out of the zone defense of the Prairie Fire. And he's been able to find those seams and get the ball where it needs to be. You see there, a nice take by Riley Brooks to the basket. And there, a nice dish down to A.J. Johnson. And that's kind of what Carthage had to lean on earlier, is those buckets down low. And now it seems like, got two to fall. Carthage, a much better three-point shooting team than 17% they're at now. So you kind of expect the cream to rise to the top and that Carthage start to really let it fly.
Well, when we were looking at the side-by-side comparisons, you saw how, Knox, known for a higher shooting percentage, a higher scoring percentage, but those shots have to fall, and they have not been falling. Usually, from three-point land, they are a 36% shooter. They are 0 for tonight. Driving in, layup left, hand off the glass, no good. A.J. Johnson kind of forced a bad shot by Anthony Davis out of South Holland. Went to De La Salle Institute. Three ball rolls around and in. You take it any way you can as long as it goes in. Riley Brooks heating up.
Got every piece of rim there. And that's something right now Knox kind of looking for. What's their offensive identity going to be? As that looked like it almost took a carom off of Russell right there for Knox. But, yeah, looking at the stats right now, Knox currently does not have a player that has more than one basket made. So up and down the entire lineup, only one basket is the leading scorer for Knox. And it's a lot of twos and threes in the box score right now.
So Mason Miller is in, the 6-foot guard out of Evansville, Wisconsin for the Firebirds. So the prior out of bounds went off of his leg. Then this one goes off of Johnson. But when you got Johnson guarding the outside, nice pick. That's going to be an and one opportunity. Pure strength for Russell Wright out of Islands High School.
Yeah, he seems to be a problem down there. Nice move there, strength to get through the contact. And I just mentioned Knox has kind of got to find somebody where, who's going to be someone they can rely on this offensive end. We mentioned pregame, someone like Sean Gallery, their leading scorer, over 1,000 points in his career, has not really been involved so far.
So one of the Achilles heels for this Knox team has been the free throw line, but they come away with a steal, a floater with the right hand, no good. Looking for another offensive board, bounces, still can't find it. It's a sea of hands, and the Firebirds come away finally with, you could say, a rebound.
Yeah, Carthage fortunate not to give up any points there. Tough turnover, and yeah, Knox had two good looks at the basket, but not able to connect.
Yeah, the team said two of the trouble spots this season are turnovers and free throws, and we saw both of that rear its head on the last possession, missing free throws and then turning the ball over. But how about a three ball? That'll break the spell. Number 12, Sean Gallery out of Maine South brings Knox back to within 11.
Yeah, I feel like one of those moments where Gallery might have heard me saying something. He's been quiet so far. He said, oh yeah, take this three and knock it down. But yeah, Knox is going to need to continue to get creative on the offensive end. It's been slow going so far, but, on the other side, Carthage they have the 11-point lead right now, but it hasn't really felt like they've really stepped on the gas to see if they can extend that lead even further against the Prairie Fire.
And looking at Gallery, he is indeed their leading scorer, the senior. He was only held to 14 points, recently snapping his string of 3 consecutive 20-point outings. He's also the 14th player in Knox history to surpass 1,000 points, the game prior against Franklin. So Gallery now at 10-17, and with that 3 ball, Gallery is now tied. With that 3 ball and the free throw, he has now surpassed Kylie Sorensen for 13th all-time on the list. And if he reaches 14 more points, he'll move up to a tie of 12th with Paul Madsen. So needless to say, this season is going to see Gallery move at least into 8th, because that's about 100 more points than now, so we know that's going to happen. 200 points gets him to 6th all-time. First all-time, good old Davey Woodward, 1973 to 77, 1,800 points.
And again, looks like Sean Gallery taking a little more offensive responsibility. And I think something that it seemed like Knox has been trying to do here later in this first half is trying to create some more turnovers. And that's somewhere, if your offense is struggling a little bit, if you can create those turnovers and get Carthage scrambling a little bit and try to get the fast break points and open up some of the Prairie Fire opportunities. But Gallery there, again, we talked about free throws, a huge factor this season and last game, and not able to knock down the first one there.
As Gallery's at the line, I mean, more notes about him, how good he is. He's averaging 20.8 points a game, second in the league behind Grinnell's Kai Tehuki at 26 points a game. He's also produced at least 14 points in every game this season, also a pair of double-doubles. And anytime he hits that double-double, it's a Prairie Fire victory. The fadeaway jumper with the right hand off the back iron, no good. Offensive board, floating it up and good. He just kind of swatted it like a volleyball player, but hey, as long as it goes in, again, you take the points.
Yeah, what a offensive rebound there. Maybe learn something from the younger brother there about how to crash the boards. But yeah, A.J. Johnson, a good rebounder himself.
Coach Jarakovic having some words with the officials. I think a moving screen is what he was seeing. Going through, Sigel hits the ground hard, and he will go to the line for 2. But again, that is about the 3rd or 4th time, Eric, that a Firebirds player has gone toward the lane and the seas parted. And it's like, oh, okay. And this time Sigel just went all the way to the basket.
Yeah, that's why Knox really trying to play that half-court, press, 3/4 court press. And, yeah, when Carthage has been able to kind of snap through that initial line, it has been open seas on the way to the hoop, and Sigel hopefully able to knock both these down.
Rolling around and good for Sigel. Again, that depth at the guard position. A.J. Williams getting a breather. Nice screen at the top. Gallery couldn't come away with the open look.
And going back to A.J. Johnson and his rebounding, he's at 6 rebounds. They're leading rebounder so far tonight.
And that's something to be said. And then, he heard his name and got that layup with the right hand, or floater, you could say. But I think that bears mentioning. Oh, steal. Brooks, an opportunity. The 2-hand slam. Heat it up for the Firebirds, 39-21.
And here you can feel Carthage kind of smelling blood in the water here. How can you close this first half out and really make it a tough assignment for Knox in the second half?
Brooks gets the rebound, starting to push the pace, and that's going to be a foul as Willie Rogers was trailing him, and I mean just kept running into his legs, and head coach Corey Harvey for the Prairie Fires not happy about that at all, but I don't think it was direct, but he was making contact and he hit his feet.
Yeah, I think Riley Brooks did a kind of almost one of those moves in soccer where you try to get the free kick right outside. He was trying to, you could see the defender on his heels, and just by
Here's another look.
just by getting in his way, and it's a foul, and I think that's some savviness from a player like Riley Brooks is able to draw that foul, and knowing that being a good free throw shooter and Knox being in double bonus, that if he gets the foul, it's a pretty good opportunity to get some more points.
Under 4 minutes remaining until halftime. Stick around for the halftime show. Performances by the cheer squad and dance team, stats, highlights, and more on this Saturday evening in chilly Kenosha, Wisconsin. Also a huge evening here on the campus of Carthage, a holiday festival. Saw the holiday lights all around. Hard to find a place to park. Out of bounds, that'll stay Carthage's ball.
Yeah, one of the holiday festival here at Carthage, one of the proud traditions of this college. And have you gone? Have you seen it before?
I have not.
It is, I'm telling you, it's worth bringing the kids. A magical evening. It is really well put on, and the music program here, along with the athletics program, top notch.
Long range three, Curry lane, and that one is going to be a foul called against Ryan Johnson on the push-off, so not sure if that'll be, and it will. So that's Johnson's second foul, so Stojic is going to come in. Coach Jarakovic he's just giving a look right now. That's one of those looks that, if you have a child at home or a kid, and it's like, nope, you took the cookie. You took the cookie, didn't you?
Yeah, just his arms folded there, and sometimes, all you need is a look. As you know, as a dad, just a glance, a well-timed glance can be what you need to do to keep those youngsters in line.
40-22, so comfortable 18-point lead for the Firebirds. However, that's something to be said against a team that is used to scoring 50 more per game, that being Knox, average of 83. So the team can score. Can they add on to where they are now? As a substitution is going to come in for Knox. Carl Dortch coming in. Fairly short bench for the Prairie Fire. What we've seen so far today, comparatively, just about the same, but not a lot of minutes for said players. Foul going to be called against number 30. So Cole Andrews, the forward from Wheaton Academy, called for the foul. And just like that, it's two gimmies now for Brooks.
Yeah, Carthage already 13 of 14 from the free throw line, compared to Knox just 6 of 11, as Riley Brooks knocks that down. So, yeah, that's something that we talked about early. Carthage getting into the bonus so early into the game. I believe it was around 11 minutes. They're already shooting 1-and-1 free throws.
Yeah.
And so Carthage is taking advantage of that and drawing those fouls. And if you can draw the fouls, it's one thing, but to knock your free throws down is really what you're looking for. And they're shooting over 90% from the line.
And Sigel couldn't get there. Good defense, however, by the Firebirds. A force down low. He's fun to watch is Carl Dortch. Let's see what he's able to do off this inbounds. Jockeying for a position. Stojic has him marked. The kick out. The pump fake. In the paint. Got Don off his feet. Travel going to be called.
Yeah, that was one of those things, like, you see that play, you're like, I don't know if that, yep, call the travel. Okay, as I say, that move would be tough to stop if you're allowed to do that, but the refs on top of it. And another part of the story here, Knox now at their 6th turnover They had 29 turnovers in their last loss, so Carthage able to stay aggressive and force those.
Brooks thought he might have gotten fouled on the way up. No call. 42-23, almost a 20-point advantage now for the Firebirds. Swiped away by Stojic, and he's going to get teed up. Coach Jarakovic is not going to be happy about that. Stojic came away with the foul, immediately started screaming in the air of Dortch, and Stojic.
Carthage fouls on number 33, Emmy Stojic, second personal.
Oh, they're waiting. So it looks like the sub is going to be number 54, Caden Dawson, the freshman out of St. Ed's High School in Elgin. And I don't know if we're waiting for the sub. So with this tee, I don't know if it's going to be an ejection or not. But immediately, Dawson is going to come into the game. Again, it's not like we're courtside, folks. So we are up in the rafters. And when we saw how vocal Stojic was, I'm not surprised. I don't know what he said.
My guess, something a little spicier than "not in my house."
Yeah,
I believe,
yeah.
You know?
He was not saying, you know what? Happy holidays, pal.
And you saw Coach Jurkovic just, immediately looked towards his bench, and now you got Caden Dawson.
Yep, Caden Dawson. He has played in 2 games, 4.5 minutes, not scored anything on the stage. Well, he doesn't have an assist. So no points, no steals, no blocks, no rebounds, but has registered an assist in his 4.5 minutes. Now, this goes back to your earlier comment where you don't have the bigs you did last year. Last year, that's a Tony Bernero spot. Hey, throw out the big man, throw out the 6'5" bowling ball, go get some rebounds for a few minutes. Not the situation anymore, but luckily, the Firebirds really have turned it on offensively to have this lead to let cooler heads prevail.
Yeah, it'd be something to see as the season develops again, where, someone like Ryan Johnson in foul trouble, where's Steve going to turn to? And Nemi is playing some big minutes, but Coach Jurkovic not happy with making a big defensive play and then kind of giving it back by speaking a little too colorfully, we'll say.
Have you, in your time, did you ever get a technical called against you?
You know what? I never did.
Okay.
At some point, I thought maybe it would be cool to get one, but I also had a few coaches that I don't know if they would have thought it was cool to get a technical foul.
43-26, minute 17 until halftime fun. Halftime festivities here at Tarble Arena, so make sure you stay tuned in for all the fun and performances. And then we'll occasionally talk basketball. It was a defensive and power stand, and now it's all offense. Coming away with the trifecta, Cole Andrews delivers. And just like that, it's a 14-point game with 60 seconds remaining.
Now, I was talking about Carthage trying to close out strong in this first half, and it's been Knox knocking down a couple threes to stay within sniffing distance here. And Riley trying that off balance step back.
Huge block rejection. Griffin Dawn almost a steal. Mismatch down low. Hand up in the face. Knocking it through. Big offensive board. Strength personified, Carl Dortch. That was the mismatch. You had Dortch versus Dawn. If they could get it to him, it just so happened to be off of a rebound. Lead back to 12. 5 seconds remain. With 4, with 3. Euro step popping through, tries to tip it, couldn't do it. Out of bounds, but that shot clock and game clock will expire, and we'll go into halftime with your score, the Firebirds 43 and the Prairie Fire 31. Eric, thoughts before we take a break?
Yeah, Carthage, I think the huge factor in that first half was simply drawing the fouls and getting to the free throw line because they were not able to shoot, lights out so far at three-point land. But the free throws have been how they've extended this game and how they've kept Knox at bay so far.
We'll take a timeout. Allow for the festivities to take place and happen. But 43-31 your score. Looking at some of the stats, again, Brooks 14, Johnson 12, your two leading scorers for the Firebirds. As for the Prairie Fire, 8 points for Gallery leads the charge. Be an exciting second half of action, so make sure you don't go anywhere. We'll be back on the Firebird Broadcasting Network.
Fans, let's hear it one more time for the Firebird Spirit teams and their friends. Carthage Athletics and the Carthage Spirit team wish each and every one of you a happy holiday season.
Welcome to the halftime show. What a fun and thrilling performance. It's always fun to see those type of things pop up. For Eric Elger, I'm Peter Ferreri. Let's take a look, Eric, at the leaders halfway through this contest.
There you can see the Firebird leaders, and Riley Brooks, no surprise, a offensive weapon for the Firebirds, but A.J. Johnson chipping in, and he has been effective. It seems like he's almost been played like a big man tonight, leading the team in rebounds and getting a lot of his points in the paint. And not to forget about Ryan Johnson and Griffin Dawn. And something that Griffin Dawn has been able to provide the Firebirds is some huge blocks. And that defensive energy that he brings that has been a huge factor so far for the Firebirds.
Well, when you look at what happened, we mentioned early on in the contest, I think it was like 18-13 at the point. You had made the comment like, this was not expected. Well, the ship righted itself, and it just became a scoring bonanza, now 43-31. Carthage almost had a 20-point lead at one point. They were one basket away from that. Now let's look at the Prairie Fire's leaderboard. And again, it's one thing you mentioned as well, how diversified their offensive attack has been.
Yeah, it's been kind of interesting. And early on in the game, they really were struggling to find where that was going to be, and that's where you saw the Prairie Fire turned a little more pressure on the defensive end and trying to force some turnovers. And yeah, Coach Jurkovic was not happy at the end of how that first half ended because, as you mentioned, we're up almost 20 points, and then kind of after that technical foul from Nemio Stojic, Knox was able to scrape back 7 points there in the last couple minutes, and that's really is what kind of has kept this game within the 12 points.
Yeah, rebounds has favored the Firebirds by 1 rebound, but that's something where it was lending itself to be a strength for the Prairie Fire coming into this game. 3 more turnovers. I mean, you flip these things and it's a much different ball game, especially if more than 2 3-pointers fall for Knox.
Yeah, and we talked about before we went to the break is that how important free throw shooting has been for Carthage. They're +9 on the free throw line, and you put that together, that advantage is the huge chunk of why they're up 12. And Knox, I would say, if you are trying to make some corrections here for the second half, you got to figure they don't want to be in the letting Carthage get to the free throw line so early like they did in the first half.
Yeah, looking there, 15 bench points for Knox, only 4 for the Firebirds. So a lot of players off the bench providing huge opportunities for the Prairie Fire, but 9 points off of turnovers. Again, that was one of the strengths for the Firebirds coming into this contest. We'll take our final break of the halftime stoppage, and when we come back, second half action coming your way. Do not go anywhere. We'll be back on the Firebird Broadcasting Network. Welcome back. Second half action about to get underway live on the Firebird Broadcasting Network. That halftime performance brought to you by the Golden Oil Company of Kenosha. Firebirds lead 43-31. Hello, everybody. I'm Peter Ferreri. Alongside me this evening and all season, Eric Elger. As Johnson looks to start things off, he gets blocked and a little bit of a stare down. That's what you like to see if you're a Prairie Fire fan. A little bit of that intimidation and saying, hey, we're not going anywhere.
Yeah, there's a 10 versus 10 matchup there, and fortunately for a Prairie Fire fan is that they came up on top. But Johnson not to be denied a second time, and he draws the foul. And again, Carthage, a theme tonight, getting to the free throw line, and they can be very lethal from the stripe.
So Johnson is 4 for 4 from the free throw line, along with 4 rebounds. So they just how many times I could say 4 in 18 minutes.
There you go. Almost sounds like a fast food deal. 4 for 4 for 4.
I feel that was a thing at some point, like Arby's maybe, or 5 for 5.
Oh yeah.
You're like, yes, indeed. Give me that cheddar. 13-point lead. Misguided pass going baseline. And Firebirds will take over possession. I'm sure the Firebirds want to maintain that, 12, 13, 14-point cushion and just drain as much clock as they can while still being the aggressor. Williams back in the game.
Yeah, I was just looking. He only had
5 minutes in the opening half. Rolls around and good for Brooks. So yeah, not a lot of playing time in that opening half. Blocked. Stolen. Brooks, an opportunity. Layup with the right hand. And Riley Brooks making it rain fire here in Tarble Arena, 48-31. Brooks up to a meager 18 points. A minute and a half into the second half.
Yeah, Coach Jurkovic must set something to kind of light a little fire after they let their lead slip a little going into the first half. And, man, coming right into the second half, taking it to the hoop. And, yeah, something Riley Brooks has been effective at is getting out in the fast break. And, man, when he's got a head of steam behind him, he is tough to stop, and he takes it all the way to the basket. And actually, something I was curious about, you seem to like these types of things. I was looking up why they are called the Prairie Fire.
Please.
And it is after the practice of where you burn the prairie to try to eliminate any invasive species. So I got me thinking, too, is like how many teams are named after kind of a conservation practice? I couldn't think of many. I think this is the only one I have so far. But just an interesting team name for the Knox Prairie Fire.
Yeah. I love those type of stories. Thank you for that. A steal. Johnson pushes ahead, tries to lay it up, and is fouled as he hits the ground as younger brother Ryan picks up AJ. Yeah, I love those type of stories. Where did that name come from?
And it's just interesting to me to be like, hey, well, we do this practice where we burn the prairie to make sure there's no. And it sounds like the name of our team.
So have they always been the Prairie Fire?
No, they've. I think in my quick research, that team name didn't switch over to the 60s or 70s.
Okay.
And one of the professors is who is known to lead that big Prairie Fire burning. Yeah. And so it's been their tradition is keeping control of those invasive species.
And that says a lot for the defense that Knox tries to have, getting those invasive points away. Reminds me of the University of Nebraska. They were originally the Nebraska Bug Eaters before switching to the Corn Huskers. So they went from eating the bugs on the farm to husking the corn.
There you go. I like that too. I've never heard that.
Quick pass to Williams. Dumps it off. Open for three, baseline, couldn't find it. 50-31. Opportunity to extend. Firebirds couldn't find it. Prairie Fire now going to go to the line for two. So it seems every time that the Firebirds are on the cusp of hitting that 20-point mark, the Prairie Fire are right back in it.
Yeah, you can kind of tell there, number 30, Cole Andrews, doesn't seem like a guy that leads many fast breaks, but when he kind of turned the corner, no one was there, and he just took it strong, and Johnson trying to get a body on him, got too much and puts him on the line.
First free throw, no good. Again, one of the things that has plagued this team all season. Prairie Fire had 29 turnovers and missed 17 of their 41 foul shots in their last game against Grinnell.
You could hear the crowd getting a little loud, trying to get that cheese curd coupon if they missed 2 free throws. They were smelling the curds before Cole Andrew calmly knocks down that free throw to deny him.
Yeah, so I did, we mentioned it in the opening half of action about, if a team hits 100. So I did confirm with my former roommate and, member of the, spirit, or student section, I guess you could say. Couldn't think of the name, or the bird cage. There we go. Because we were birds. And it was 75 points, you get free pizza. So indeed I was correct. What a college student wouldn't cheer for to get free pizza. Driving in, just throws it up 2 hands hard, didn't quite have a good handle. Another offensive board. Firebirds thought they might have had the rebound. Brooks was already halfway back to town. And the first bucket of the day for Cooley out of St. Joe's Catholic High School.
That second chance provided by Joshua Stewart, who we mentioned, their leading rebounder. And if you were to look at the court right now, I don't think you'd be picking number 4 to be the leading rebounder, but you can kind of see he just kind of waits under the hoop there, and it's almost like he's under all the tall trees and able to scoop that offensive rebound and kick it out to get Knox within 15.
15-point lead, 16 and a half remaining in the second. No good off the rim. And the Prairie Fire now looking to cut into that lead once again. And it is going to be an offensive foul called. So the strength of Carl Dortch forces the offensive foul. And so that's Dortch's second foul. So I will say this, consistency with the officials. If there's a touch, they're calling it. They're not letting things get out of hand. Dawn drives in, layup and good. Griffin Dawn thrust into the starting lineup with the absence of Antoine Nesbitt and is nothing short of produce as much as he can. 8 points so far on the evening.
Yeah, those 2 points going up right against Dortch, who is a opposing figure down there, and Dawn using his strength to bounce off him and get the basket.
Cutting in, nice layup. The phenomenal A.J. Johnson delivers. 16 points for Johnson, lead back to 19. The one-hand float in by Rogers III. A bit too much mustard behind it.
Without having the guy fall over, that's about as good of a crossover as you can get there. As soon as A.J. stopped, crossed it over, it was like he put his defender with cement shoes. He was just stuck, and Johnson takes it all the way to the hoop.
Williams, Dawn, the two-hand slam. Lead at 21, 56-35.
Just picked apart the defense there. And Knox, you're going to gamble to try to get the steals, and there it was just 3 passes, and Dawn with the dunk.
Stolen away by the Firebirds. Looks up ahead. Foul on the way up. Hopping right back up, however, is Riley Brooks. And Brooks is going to go to the line, looking to make this 20 points on the evening.
Well, not to jinx anything here, but it doesn't appear Knox is, staying away from the fouls. Already got 5 fouls in 5 minutes. And, yeah, I mean, at Carthage, it's like if you just can get to the line, it's almost like you're like an anaconda just squeezing the life out of Knox, because Carthage can be that effective, and it's definitely demoralizing when you get a foul and see the other team just knock 2 free throws down, as Riley Brooks did there.
Well, you and I kind of saw this in the women's game a few days ago where Carthage, had the lead, but the challenge was they hadn't really fouled, and so when it was time to foul, it was almost a little too late, as foul going to be called against Dawn, and Stojic is about to check into the contest.
Something tells me Nemi's going to be a little more, what do I want to say, a little calmer on the next block he gets here.
I hope so.
It's kind of an uncharacteristic move, because Nemi he's one of those guys you see him before the game, after the game, just the smiling, happy-go-lucky guy. But get Nemi on the court, and that fire kind of burns a little brighter. But an important piece for Coach Jurkovic, and we'll see again. I think that role for Nemi is going to, continue to be there, because you're going to need some minutes to give Ryan Johnson a blow to get, if he's in foul trouble, and be exciting to see what he can contribute this season.
Well, one player that had played 45 minutes on the season was Ash Oglesby, and he has not seen the court yet this evening, so Ash is one of your other bigs that would come in, your 6'7" sophomore. So again, with his absence as well, and he's played in 5 of the 7 games. So a warning has been issued against head coach Corey Harvey in his first season at the helm for the Prairie Fire. At his last stop in coaching, also coached the men and women's tennis teams. How about that for the trifecta? Men's hoops and then men's and women's tennis. Wide open for 3. Couldn't get the rebound on the offensive side. Pushing through, almost a block from behind. And just like that, Knox able to find a basket. They need a run. Long range 3, no good off the iron. Trying to fight it down, threw it off the legs, but Johnson stepped on the line on his way out of play. So Sigel's going to check into the game. Another player hasn't got a lot of playing time. Tanner Lamb hasn't seen the court that much this evening.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to talk to Coach Jurkovic. Kind of what challenges did Knox provide this night, and how did you use your lineup and different players to maximize what your team could do?
Shot up and good. 17-point lead now for the Firebirds, but a nice little run for the Prairie Fire. Kicks out. Stojic didn't want to take that long range. A.J. Johnson gets blocked. Stojic pushes it through and bringing us in to the Ring of Fire. 60-41 is Stojic's first bucket of the evening.
All predicated there from A.J. Johnson's drive, and he is continuing to get downhill, and Nemi able to clean up the glass.
Lamb looks up ahead, and they're going to call a defensive foul. Number 23, Willie Rogers III.
And that's
seventh.
Seventh foul for them now,
and fourth personal for Rogers.
Yeah, and on a night that Carthage not, kind of shooting their typical three-point percentage, this free throw game has been, so huge for them. And Knox now, they have to be really careful for the next 13 minutes, because any mistake defensively and drawing a foul is going to put Carthage at the line, and it's going to be a tough ask for Knox to try to come back if Carthage can continue to make those free throws.
Well, and now if you're the Firebirds offensively, you can be aggressive and go to the basket because even if you miss, if you get the foul, you're going to get a chance at points. Crisp pass inside. Out on the Firebirds, I believe.
They just turned that around. I believe the ref on the sideline there was the one that had the better look, and little ref communication is that sometimes you can't see the call where you're at, and got some help from his partner there.
Garrett Arnold out of Highlands Ranch, Colorado, from Thunder Ridge High School, checks in and gets the inbound.
If you're Carthage now, you know, you can definitely grind out some possessions. Not saying take the full shot clock as Riley Brooks takes a 3 right away.
Yeah, he waited 5 seconds.
I was just going to say, you can kind of grind out some possessions, move Knox around, see if he can continue to attack the basket to the line, but Riley Brooks had other ideas on that possession.
Well, and I think you bring up a good point. The style of play that the Firebirds play, it's almost hard for them, or potentially hard, to slow down your pace. You're used to the quick fire shooting. You're used to running up and down the court. You know, maybe further along you do that, but Coach Jarakovic, he likes them to run. Forces up strong with the right hand. And just like that, Johnson subs in and gets the rebound. Blocked. Nice block, Carl Dortch. Like I mentioned in the first half, he is so fun to watch.
Yeah, there's been quite a few blocks tonight.
Dortch, actually, his first block of the season was that block. Just his presence down low, I guess, lends itself to feel. Dortch averaging 2.5 rebounds a game. 3-pointer, no good. Offensive board, turnaround, floats it up. Foul going to be called. Let's see who it's against. Now, here's an interesting lineup situation for the Firebirds. You have both Stojic and Ryan Johnson in the game simultaneously. So your 2 rotational bigs simultaneously in the contest.
Yeah, I think that just is coming from Coach Jurkovic seeing where Knox is looking to attack, and pretty much every single possession for the Prairie Fire is they're trying to get to that circle under the hoop. Right in the paint, and they have cutters kind of drive into the basket around that guy in the paint, and I think Steve trying to counter that by put some more height in there and see if that can disrupt what they're trying to do.
Well, I think it says something as well when you saw the first person off the bench after Stojic was Caden Dawson, the freshman out of Elgin, Illinois, that Oglesby potentially not fit or healthy enough for the action, or could be another decision. Don't want to speculate. But Stojic coming in. Pivotal offensive rebound. Williams tries to thank him for it. Not able to find it.
Yeah, A.J. Williams trying to get involved and just cannot get off the goose egg tonight so far. But, you know, a player that Carthage will continue to trust and lean on, and he'll get his eventually.
So foul going to be called on Aiden Derry out of Dunlap High School right out of the fast break. And folks, with 8 fouls, Carthage is going to the line.
Third personal, 18 foul. Garrett Arnold on the line.
Free throw up and no good. So Garrett Arnold, that was his first free throw attempt on the season. Arnold having only played 24 minutes all year. So Jarakovic really utilizing some different players today out of purpose and necessity. Johnson went up, blocked away, but the second player made contact. That being Dante Smith out of Mansfield, Texas. Oh, they're calling that on Russell Wright, excuse me. I thought it was on 13.
Yeah, you could see 13, Dante Smith was the one that was upset.
Yeah.
And I guess he was okay, all right to be upset because he said, I did not foul him, and he didn't. He did not get the foul, so it went to his teammate, Russell Wright, who I think was just reaching in there a little bit on Johnson.
Yeah, it makes more sense that it was on the first touch than the second, because the first touch is what, caused the ball to go out of play, and then it was just inadvertent afterwards. So still, if you're Knox, you don't want to foul either way. Lead sits at 20, 63-23, just under 11 remaining in the contest. For Eric Elger, I'm Peter Ferreri, live on the Firebird Broadcasting Network. Shot up good. Johnson the younger with his 10th point of the evening. Oh, nice pass back, switch to the left hand off the glass. Pretty play, Aiden Derry.
Yeah, Aiden Derry had to go high off the glass to get that in, and yeah, nice cut. Nice bucket for Knox.
Sigel drives in, he gets fouled on the way down once again. I believe it's going to be Derry. And if it is, that'll be his 4th foul. Let's see who it is indeed against Derry. 4th foul on Derry. And Sigel will go to the line. On the season, Sigel 4 for 5 from the free throw line. Makes the first, and with that being the 10th foul, they're going to the line for 2 the final 10 minutes of the game.
As you can see, the weapon for the Prairie Fire, Sean Gallery, enters back in. And you wonder how long Knox is going to kind of stick with this kind of ground and pound offensive game, because you might start thinking, 10 minutes, we're going to have to catch up here and see if they start to let it fly a little more from the three-point land. But Carthage, I think something that Coach Jurkovic is going to be excited about is just how tough they've been defensively. Eliminating a team like Knox to just 45 here with 10 to go.
As we stated, Firebirds hoping for shades of 1957. Again, the last time these two teams played. Just a little bit before my time. Just a little.
When is the three-point line invented? Is that around that time?
One of them. Got him. Once, twice, 3 times a lady. 69-47. Firebirds up by 22.
Is AJ now up to 17 points? And he has just been 19 points, excuse me. And he has just been all over the floor tonight for Carthage, getting rebounds, leading the point, and chipping in 19 of his own.
Checking in, 12 Firebirds, number 11, Riley Brooks. In for Knox, number 5, Anthony Davis. And number 20, Carl Doge.
And I mean, if you're Knox now, it's going to be tough. You got essentially your starting lineup on the floor with Garrett Arnold on there as well, and a lot of scoring punch for the Firebirds back. And you kind of see, Carthage, what can you kind of want to, like you said, squeeze this game out, take care of the ball.
Dawn. Johnson. Back to Dawn. Or excuse me, that's the other Johnson. Trying to push through. Dawn floats up with the right hand. And Dawn set fire to the rain. 71-48. Out of bounds, and the Firebirds going to get possession. 23 is the lead.
And man, Griffin Dawn, what a night he's had as well, defensively, and chipping in 6-8 points on the night, and a player. Ryan Johnson now getting in the three-point party here.
When the big man can make it from outside, it's that type of night. Drives in, right hand, floats up with the right, rolls around, no good. 26-point lead. Dawn tries to go behind the back, but stepped on the line. Coach Jarakovic trying to say, hey, be smart about that play. It's tough because you got momentum on the court. You feel the momentum right now if you're a Firebirds player, that you might be a little bit exuberant.
Griffin Dawn was pointing up there. He was looking for the alley-oop. Not able to get that connection there. But now, Knox 15 turnovers. And, you kind of pick, if we're going to foul early, you got to be clean on the offensive end. And Carthage and their defensive effort is just stifled any type of momentum Knox could try and get tonight, I should say.
Another trifecta for Johnson. Burning down the house. 77-48. Almost a 30-point lead. Trying to back in. Floats it up. There was a little bit of a tug on the jersey. Not called. Layup. And Knox able to find a bucket.
Yeah, Ryan Johnson did a nice job standing strong to force a tough shot from Knox, but Prairie Fire able to pick up offensive rebound.
I know that, so travel going to be called on the slip. Now I know there's still time left on the clock, but I want to mention their game against Grinnell was a 107-101 loss. So they are half of what they scored just a few days ago. Their lowest output of the season, offensively speaking, was the opener on the road at Dominican, and that was a 73-point output where they lost 80-73. So they are still 23 points below the lowest they've scored all year. So foul going to be called as Arnold was trying for the pass. And this is where you kind of wonder, with 6:48 remaining, is this where you start pulling out some of the bench players for the Firebirds? Again, knowing, and there's a timeout, a full timeout's going to be called. And the reason I say that is, you're already limited a little bit physically. Not only are you down, as mentioned, players that have departed, players that are hurt, players not available for tonight. You want to save as much as you can as the games go along, while also, not giving up the lead. So if you are the Firebirds right now, I'm assuming you're getting pretty close to that point.
Yeah, and I think as someone like you see Tanner Lamb coming in, it's not like, someone who does not have big minutes, who he's played in his career. So, even getting to guys like Tanner Lamb some minutes and seeing some of the other bench players getting a little opportunity tonight. And Carthage, I think, is something that is continuing to impress me, is that the way they can kind of switch styles, and Knox, a team more trying to get it down low, and Carthage defensively has been right up to the task with guys like Ostojic, Johnson, and even Griffin Dawn denying opportunities. And Carthage can kind of play big, and they've also proven this season they can play small. So that adaptability that the Firebirds bring is going to be a huge asset continuing every night as the season progresses.
77-50 your score. Appreciate you being with us this Saturday evening in December on the Firebird Broadcasting Network. 18 points for Brooks, 14 for A.J. Johnson. As these teams are just moving along, make that 20 points for Brooks. And shooting two because of being in the double is going to be Arnold. That one rolls around no good, so his two free throws of the evening are his first two of the season, and he misses them both. Makes the second one. First point of the evening for Arnold. And not only the first point of the season as well.
Yeah, you can tell he's someone not asked to carry a heavy offensive load, more of the tempo setter. But, you know, I think you can see someone like him, his role continuing to grow. He gets comfortable with this team. And, you know, you can see him even adding a little more offensive game as we go along here.
So foul called on Dortch. Ryan Johnson will go to the line. So about to check in is going to be number 31, Mason Miller, again out of Evansville High School. And soon to check in once again is Caden Dawson. Again, got some minutes in the first after the technical on a Stojic. Free throw up and good. And for Knox is going to be Ryan Erdos out of Bourne, Texas. The 6'9" freshman. So the young fella is quite tall.
There you can see Carthage just sweeping up the rebound and
three-pointer. Tanner, silence of the Lamb. 83-50.
what a weapon he is from the three-point line. Close to 50% from the arc for Tanner Lamb. And hey, he's one of those guys, you see the ball leave his fingertips, you got a good feeling that thing's going in.
So a steal, layup, good. Ill-advised pass from Brooks.
Something you can live with a little bit more when you're up 28 points here. And we got Caden Dawson back in.
Yep.
Fun to see him get in the score sheet here.
Dribbling in with the left. The kickoff. Up with the left hand, and you called it. You absolutely called it. Dawson, his first bucket of the season. And that means, of course, the first bucket of his collegiate career. Dawson, Arnold. Great to see them both.
Exactly, and I think if you're Dawson, you got to give a fist bump to your teammate, Mason Miller, for creating that opportunity. He, he didn't have a whole lot to do after Miller got to the basket and just kind of flipped it off, essentially handed it off to him for the easy bucket.
So subbing in now is number 30 for the Firebirds, Quentin Villa, the junior out of Frankfort, Illinois. And also it's going to be Andy Nash out of Bennett Academy. So here comes the bench players with 5 minutes remaining in a 30-point lead. And I think more so than the players, Villa and Nash, that were just mentioned, this is important for the players like Caden Dawson, as you mentioned, because there's going to become a point where he's the focal point, one of the future points, one of the bigs for this Firebird squad, and you need to get those live game reps in now because Stojic is a grad student. So this is the end of the road for him. This is his last go-around. So Dawson, the future at the middle with Ryan Johnson.
And that's Mason Miller's first free throw of the season. So quite a few firsts at Carthage taken care of tonight.
And good.
And continuing the relentless attack of the free throws. I mean, you look up at the scoreboard now, 32-37. That is quite a few points from the charity stripe for the Firebirds, and they've been able. And it's one, like I said, it's one thing to draw the fouls, but man, if you can knock down 86% of them, and not only free throw shooting for a game like this, but you've seen that late in games already this season where a team that can shoot, close to 80% from the line can close out games that way. So I think free throw shooting would be a continued weapon for them.
Yeah, nice job breaking that full court press. Also in the game, want to give a mention to Vladimir Marinov out of Sofia, Bulgaria for Knox. Pass inside. Nice job by Caden Dawson to finish. The future is bright for the Firebirds.
Kind of wonder if players like Miller and Dawson, when they're not getting a bunch of reps during games, so I wonder if they're like teammates in practice, because it seems like they got a little connection between the two of them.
Almost a steal. Got to get past the half-court line. Some more subs going to come in for the Firebirds. Driving in, and a foul going to be called. So Brandon Cooley called with the foul. So you still have Sean Gallery in the game. Surprised that he's still in the contest?
I mean, I think someone that, a career player like him, I mean, I think, unless you're worried about injury, but I think you mentioned him trying to climb up the scoreboard.
Yeah.
All-time scoring leaders for Knox. Almost went with 3 different names before I got to Knox there, but
you got there eventually.
I think there was a Nash that just came in. Am I wrong? Or somebody from Nash? But anyway, yeah, I think, a coach for the Prairie Fire, Corey Harvey. I mean, I think that's, and there you see him getting checked out. But
so also in the game now comes in Dane Hamilton. Now Hamilton, a name you might be familiar with, got plenty of playing time. He's the senior out of Munster, Indiana, but plenty of playing time throughout his career. Was one of those rotational bench guards, so getting his feet underneath him, and I believe this is his first time on the court this season. No, I rescind. 2 minutes played. So Hamilton has 2 minutes played in one contest so far. And Carthage 9 points away from that hundo. Also in the game now is number 25, KJ Williams, the junior out of Milwaukee. Looking for 3 with the heel kick. Hamilton tries to punch it out.
yeah, Donnie Hamilton's one of those guys that you hear his name chanted once, Carthage is a little bit ahead. He seems to be a crowd favorite here at Tarble. So any Hamilton minutes are well received here.
On the overpass, no shot, I should say, point by Jaden McNabb, who's in the game. Braden Phelan out of Wales, Wisconsin, also in for Knox. Hamilton drives in, up, under, just misses.
Pretty good ball movement there from the Firebirds, and you can tell that they get well coached on their offense, their offensive practice, and not a lot of drop-off offensively when you get some of these guys that don't play a lot.
Derek Salt also in the game, the 6'7" senior from Gilbert. Looks like we're caught up on these line change hockey-style subs. Oh, a foul's going to be called. I thought he just lost the grip while going up, but apparently there was contact. Official was on the spot. Going to the line is going to be Phelan. Wales, Wisconsin. Are you aware of where that is?
No idea.
You're a teacher. I just expect you to know all geography.
No idea. Maybe I'll have to pull up the old map at school on Mondays, find out where Wales, Wisconsin would be. I'm guessing it's got to be way up north. I don't know.
Checking in for the Firebirds, number 40, Patrick Lorich, the 6'7" junior out of Downers Grove South. Also in Adam Kemp, the junior guard from Rochelle. And Ryan Grantham, the senior guard out of Hudsonville, Michigan. Up with the left hand. Lorich able to deliver. that's so fun if you are, you're the starters or you're the first line of defense off the bench and you're seeing the teammates that don't necessarily get the playing time but make you as good of a player as you are with all the practice reps and time in the gym here at Tarble. It's got to be a good feeling to cheer on your teammates.
Yeah, for sure. Kind of the job done. Let some of your teammates and friends get out there and see what kind of buckets they can produce. You know they want them to score when they're out there, too.
Yeah.
You're really hoping to get some of these guys a couple more collegiate buckets here.
So Jaden McNabb out of Sawyer, Michigan with the score. Also in the game, Jacob Morgenstern from Speyer, Germany has checked in. Just misses the three, tries to get the board, couldn't find it. As Danae Hamilton now had gotten the offensive board. 40 seconds remain. Likely the last shot will be taken by the Firebirds. How about that? Ryan Grantham with his first bucket of the season for the senior. For three, rolls around, poked up. Somebody trying to get possession. Firebirds do, and that should just about do it. Danae Hamilton, the lefty, looked for three, couldn't find it. Offensive board, last touch by the Firebirds. That one's going out of play. 11 seconds left, 95-68. Let's see if Knox decides to go for it. They're driving in, and a foul going to be called, so almost a 30-point lead for the Firebirds. They aren't going to hit that 100 mark. But head coach Corey Harvey, the Lourdes University grad of 2014, saying, hey, keep playing.
Yeah, why not? I mean, got 6 seconds to make a difference here in the game. And, yeah, Carthage, I think at one point Knox got it to win 8-9 points. And ever since then, and really the second half, all Firebirds all night long.
And with three, with two, with one, that's going to be it. That is going to be all she wrote. The Firebirds with a convincing victory in the Battle of the Flames. 95-69, Firebirds over the Prairie Fire. Knox will fall to 2-5 on the season, losing streak to 3-1-5 on the road before they welcome Lawrence University in a Midwest Conference matchup, 7:30 on Wednesday. As for the Firebirds, after today, they head out of town. They have a whole week before they get ready for Augustana against Rock Island. That's a 4:15 matchup next Saturday. But before we take a timeout, we want to remind everybody, Coach is going to be joining us on the post-game show live in just a few minutes. Going to talk to the team. But Eric, initial thoughts?
Yeah, I think Carthage is so impressive. The defensive end early on, not hitting a lot of baskets, but the aggression to take it to the rim, draw fouls, and it was just too much for Knox, who could not find an offensive flow, and really it was an uphill battle kind of from the second half on. And credit to Carthage and the defensive effort, really, I think, tonight.
We'll take a timeout. When we come back, Coach Jarakovic joining us right here on the post-game show on the Firebird Broadcasting Network. Welcome into the post-game show here on the Firebird Broadcasting Network. For Eric Elger, I'm Peter Ferreri. Coach joining us here in the booth. That's a pretty fun win. You got a lot of players off the bench near the end there. Just talk us through the overall feel of things, Coach.
Weird, a little bit. It was a, you knew after a game, first conference one at a top 5 team at Wesleyan, you naturally are going to have a little bit of a, tough practice on Thursday, the day one. But I thought our guys were focused. I thought we did a really good job. Knox is so well coached. They're so physical across the board that we had to keep our composure and play through contact. I thought we did a good job of that. And, I like the way they play. They got very talented players. Number 12, Sean Gallery, is one of the best players we'll see. And we've seen 3 slashing athletes back-to-back-to-back games, from Luke Meinholz at Ripon to Nick Roper at Wesleyan, and now him. So it's forcing us to be in a better help side, be in position to guard really good perimeter players. So it's been fun, and I was just proud of the guys where, hey, kind of gave them a little bit back late in the first half, and we jumped them early on in the second half.
Yeah, you could see that, kind of what you mentioned, closing that first half. And, wow, once you guys got to the second half, you never looked back. You mentioned something about how Knox is such a physical team. They're earlier, or before the game, they were ranked 4th overall in Division III in rebounding. How do you use some of your other guys? Because sometimes, your lineups seem to go a little shorter sometimes. But how are guys like Griffin Dawn and A.J. Johnson able to get rebounds, even, without some of that height that typical teams have?
The number one thing on our bulletin board beginning of the year, we had our first team meeting. It was, for us to be as successful as we want to be, it's all going to come down to rebounding the basketball. And we've really prided ourselves on that. I feel like in the last couple weeks, first couple games, we were a little bit behind. Part of the reason was we were turning people over a lot the first couple games, so you weren't getting as many of the defensive boards there. But no, Griffin Dawn, A.J. Williams before today got a little foul trouble. I think he had 3 straight games of 8+ defensive rebounds. So, we're starting to get it collectively where it's not just, hey, Ryan Johnson, go get 13, like you did against Weber. Now everybody's starting to pick each other up and go get some extra boards.
Yeah, and A.J. actually out-rebounding Ryan Johnson. How many times that happened? Is there any, back and forth between the brothers?
Maybe middle school, maybe one of those two. I'm not too sure, too. But, overall, it was a really good job. I thought A.J. Johnson was super efficient. He got the ball we were supposed to be. We're playing good basketball right now. I feel like we've gotten comfortable these last few weeks. I think I talked to you guys about a month ago and said this grind of a schedule is going to get tough. And since we last talked, or I think it was before the Ripon one, we've now gone to Platteville, top 10 in the country, to Anderson, who was ranked earlier this year, to Wisconsin Whitewater, one of the best teams always in the Midwest, to Illinois Wesleyan, top 5, and now we get to get one home one and go right back on the road to Rock Island to play Augustana, who's playing as good as anybody in the conference right now, too. So we knew this stretch we were going to learn a lot about ourselves, and I'm just really, really proud of our guys all around for coming in. We had 2 tough losses at Platteville and at Anderson in games that we may not have been ready to play togetherness, cohesive-wise. And now we're starting to grow up a little bit, too, play together, and it's been really, really enjoyable the last few weeks.
I feel at least once a year there's a Nemi Stojic sighting that really makes you say, wow, what a vital player off the bench. Talk us through his ability to come in today. Again, you didn't have Oglesby at your disposal. About Nemi, got a little mouthy at one point. We joked about it here, but with that being said, still a pivotal piece off the bench.
No comment there. Nemi is your spark plug. He is your energy guy right now. He was one of the key guys at Illinois Wesleyan the other day because he battled with their 6'10s, battled with their 6'8 physical guys the entire time, and he was a huge part to that. And I love to see it because this is a whole team collective, all of us together, and we're rooting and we're cheering for everybody. I don't think I heard the bench louder than when Caden Dawson had his first made basket of his career, too, and he's getting better and better every day. And part of the reason is he gets to go up against a 5th-year player like Nemi. He gets to go up against a guy like Ash. He gets to go up against a Ryan Johnson every day, some of the other ones like Miles. So, Pat Lowrick. It's been great to see those guys kind of work together, and practices have been great. They really have been. They're loose right now, but very focused on what we're trying to do and accomplish the goals at hand.
So you got just about a week. It's actually a week to the day before you head to Dominican. What's practice this week going to look like, the schedule? It's finals week, I believe?
It is finals week next week, so we're going to be a little bit lighter coming up on Monday, Tuesday. A lot of individual stuff. Start doing a little bit of the early game planning stuff, and we'll really, really lock in on Wednesday, probably after finals a little bit too. So this is a big one. This really is. I mean, we're starting off with two of the top-rated teams, I think, in the conference. Wesleyan was picked first. I think Augie might have been 3rd or 4th, whatever they were. And they're playing excellent right now, too, with a lot of seniors, a lot of returning players in their lineup, a couple transfers they added. So it's going to be a challenge for us. So we got to be ready to go, guard them, and Coach Delp's doing a heck of a job over there right now.
Well, Coach, we want to thank you for having us. A huge win. Not that every win is not huge, but this is a good one because, again, like you said, coming off the high of a number 5
For sure.
victory, you don't want to look, and we said about it very early in the contest. It was 18-13. You had that lead. It was just a battle down low, and then the offense started.
It really was, and you looked up early on. I think I saw on the board we were 0 of 8 from threes,
Yes.
and there wasn't one three that I would have said, oh, I want that one back. It was really good drive, attack, kick, and we just didn't get, like the Alma game, made the first three, right? This was one that we just kind of had to battle and be a little bit grittier, and like you said, they're a big physical team. They're plus 11 on the boards through 6 games. That's pretty hard to do through 6 games already.
Yeah, well, Coach, we're not going to see you until after the new year.
Yep.
So happy holidays. Enjoy your time at Dominican. Your enjoying time in Nashville. Don't have too much fun. And we'll be back here for North Park.
You guys are the best. Thanks so much. Happy holidays, okay?
Thank you, Coach. Again, that was Coach Jared Kovic on the postgame show brought to you by the Golden Oil Company of Wisconsin. Eric, final stats. Talk us through it. 95-69. Firebirds kind of pulled away and didn't look back.
Yeah, I mean, Coach, you hear Coach Jurkovic so proud of his team because, I mean, you can sense there could be some letdown after you're playing such a tough game. And they're just, I mean, it seemed their first few minutes, shots weren't going in. But after that, it was pretty much 35, 38 minutes of dominance from the Firebirds. And one stat you don't see on there, again, the free throws, making over 30 free throws in the game. And last point I thought was interesting that Coach Jurkovic mentioned was that their big bullet point for the season was rebounding, and it's just been interesting to see it how some of these guys like Don and AJ Johnson, who not having the height, but that you can see that focus from Coach Jurkovic on rebounding has paid off because they essentially eliminated the number one thing Knox had going for them, and that was that rebounding advantage.
Yeah. Well, again, we will not be back for a men's basketball game for a few weeks, almost a month. That's going to be January the 4th against North Park. That's a 4:15 tip-off. Let's see what else is coming up. Monday, December 30th is women's basketball afternoon contest, 2 o'clock against Luther. But again, we got Saturday, Jan 4th. That's a doubleheader. Both teams taking on North Park. And then we're right back into the grind of it Wednesday, Jan the 8th. Women's basketball versus Elmhurst. And how about that? Men's volleyball versus St. Norbert, 7 o'clock on that Friday, Jan 10th. We'll be excited to be here with you. Eric, we won't see each other for a few weeks. Happy holidays to you and your family, my friend. We appreciate all the staff and crew for bringing together an outstanding broadcast on the busiest of nights here at campus of Carthage. For executive producer Mike Love, producer John Voinovich, as well as the director Laura, graphics Maddie, camera Marissa, and Mark. Outstanding job. Many first-time players here this evening on the broadcast side, and they did a wonderful job. This program has been a presentation of Firebird Broadcast Productions and Carthage College copyright 2024. Once again, your final 95-69 Firebirds over the Prairie Fire. Happy holidays, everybody.
Happy holidays.